We've all been there. We start our spiritual journey with the best of intentions, eager to awaken and unlock that deeper sense of peace and purpose within us. We long for that place of calm, where we feel grounded and in control, far from the grip of our anxieties. And sometimes we find it for a while. The clarity, the courage, the serenity. We experience it like a deep breath. But here's the reality. It doesn't last forever. Like everything in life, this state of balance comes and goes. The moment it starts to fade, we begin to make what I call spiritual mistakes. These aren't catastrophic failures, but small missteps, errors in our approach and how we apply what we believe. They're normal. They're part of the process. But here's where the problem arises. We let these missteps define us, and from there, the spiral begins. Anxiety increases, frustration builds, and worst of all, we start to feel anxious about our anxiety. It feels like an endless cycle, one that's hard to break. But what if I told you that the very anxiety you're trying to avoid might actually be the key to something deeper? What if, instead of running from it, we learn to embrace it, to see it not as an enemy, but as a guide, one that is showing us the path to uncovering parts of ourselves we never even knew existed? In this video, we're going to break down some of the most common missteps we make on the spiritual journey that trap us in the cycle of anxiety. And together, we'll uncover how to transform that anxiety into something powerful, your hidden potential. Because the truth is, your anxiety isn't here to destroy you. It's here to awaken you. One of the biggest traps we fall into on the spiritual path is believing that we're supposed to be a certain way, calm, composed, and serene. We think, if I'm doing this right, I'll feel peaceful all the time. I'll look like I have it all together. But that's not the truth. Here's the real secret. Spirituality isn't about perfection. It's messy, it's uncomfortable, and yes, it will challenge you. Think about the last time you tried to slow down and focus on something important to you. Maybe you were journaling or simply taking a moment to be present, but instead, your mind started racing. Thoughts popped up out of nowhere. Worries about work, fears about the future, frustrations with the past. You might have thought, this isn't supposed to happen, I'm doing it wrong. But you weren't doing it wrong. The idea that you're supposed to be perfectly still, perfectly calm, and perfectly peaceful is the very thing that keeps you stuck. It's perfectionism wearing a spiritual mask. It tells you that anything less than ideal is failure. But here's the thing. Perfection, as we understand it, doesn't exist in the vastness of the universe. Spirit, or the divine, is infinite, unlimited, and all-encompassing. How can anything that has no boundaries be confined to our small concept of perfection? If spirit is truly infinite, then perfection, as we've defined it, is simply a human construct, an idea that serves no real purpose except to cause us anxiety. In fact, if perfection doesn't exist in the way we think it does, neither does imperfection. Both are simply labels we place on ourselves. When we step away from this duality, perfect versus imperfect, and allow ourselves to simply be as we are, we free ourselves from this cycle of anxiety. Spirituality, true spirituality, asks something else of you. It asks you to let go of the version of yourself that you think you're supposed to be, so you can embrace the version of yourself that you actually are. That version isn't perfect. It's real. It's human. It's someone whose mind wanders when they try to focus, someone whose emotions sometimes feel overwhelming, someone whose anxiety doesn't disappear just because they've been doing the right things, and that's okay. Because growth doesn't happen in perfection, it happens in the mess. The truth is, your anxiety isn't a sign that you're failing on your path. It's a part of the path itself. It shows up to teach you, to challenge you, and to guide you deeper into who you truly are. The more you try to push it away, the louder it becomes. But when you stop fighting it, when you allow yourself to sit with it, no matter how uncomfortable, you discover something incredible. Another way of anxiety takes hold is through comparison. We all know that voice, the one that says, I'm not doing it right. They have it all figured out, and I'm just trying to catch up. Whether we're looking at someone else's success, their seemingly perfect life, or just noticing people around us who seem to have it all together, comparison creeps in. We look at others and think, why am I not like them? Why can't I be as calm, as balanced, as successful? But here's the hard truth. Comparison is a trap. When we compare ourselves to others, we either end up feeling less than or caught in the need to feel better than someone else. It's the pendulum swing, the constant up and down between feeling superior one minute and inadequate the next. Comparison is the root of all depression. Why? Because comparison pulls us away from ourselves. and makes us measure our worth against someone else's journey. If we feel like we're doing better than someone else, we latch onto that moment, holding onto the idea that we are better, only to crash when the comparison swings back the other way. It's a cycle that feeds our anxiety. When we place our value in comparison, we start to depend on external measures of success. We end up on a constant emotional roller coaster, chasing a fleeting sense of superiority or falling into self-doubt. The truth is, neither side of that pendulum is helpful. The key to breaking out of this trap is simple: stop comparing. Let go of the idea that you need to be better than anyone else, and also let go of the belief that you are less than. Both of these extremes only keep you stuck. Your worth is inherent. Just by being here, you are enough. Instead of comparing, focus on the unique qualities that make you, you. Your journey, your path, your struggles, they all contribute to who you are. When you shift your focus from trying to measure up to someone else, you free yourself from the anxiety that comparison brings. It's not about being perfect. It's about being authentic. It's about embracing who you are without the need to match someone else's version of success. When you stop comparing, you open up space for growth, for self-acceptance, and most importantly, for peace. Your anxiety won't disappear overnight, but by letting go of comparison, you'll notice that it starts to lose its power over you. As we walk through life, we are often taught to control everything around us. From our work to our relationships and even our spiritual growth, we are conditioned to believe that we need to have a firm grip on every aspect of our lives. We hold on tightly, thinking that if we just control more, we will find peace. But the truth is, control is an illusion. No matter how hard we try to control our thoughts, emotions, or experiences, life will always have its surprises. Spiritual growth doesn't thrive in a space where control reigns. It flourishes when we learn to let go. Think about the moments when you felt out of control, when things didn't go as planned, when life threw curveballs you couldn't have anticipated. In those moments, we often feel the strongest pull to regain control. But what if, instead of trying to control everything, we allowed ourselves to surrender to the flow of life? What if we embrace the unknown, trusting that life, even with its chaos, is guiding us toward our highest good? Letting go of control doesn't mean passively accepting whatever comes our way, nor does it mean giving up on our dreams or aspirations. It means trusting that the universe, or whatever higher force you believe in, has a plan far greater than we could ever imagine. It's about releasing the need to force outcomes and allowing ourselves to be open to the lessons that arise, even when they are difficult or uncomfortable. The process of letting go can be incredibly liberating, yet at the same time deeply challenging. We fear the unknown, the uncertainty that comes with stepping off the well-worn path we've created for ourselves. We tell ourselves, if I let go, I won't have control over my life. What if things fall apart? But paradoxically, it's often in these moments of apparent falling apart that we experience the deepest growth. Life will show us that we don't need to control everything to find peace. Sometimes, we need to allow the pieces to fall where they may and trust the process. Think of it as stepping into a river. You could fight the current, desperately trying to swim against it, but that would only exhaust you. Alternatively, you could surrender, let go of the struggle, and allow the river to carry you where it's meant to take you. The flow of life works similarly. When we stop fighting it, we allow ourselves to be moved by the current of experience, not as passive victims, but as active participants in the unfolding of our journey. Letting go of control means releasing the need to have everything figured out. It means allowing yourself to be vulnerable, to experience life as it comes without the pressure to make everything perfect. This doesn't mean giving up or being passive. It's about opening yourself up to the lessons life has to offer, even if they don't come in the neat expected package we imagined. When we let go of control, we make space for growth, for learning, and for real transformation. The paradox is this: by releasing the need to control, we actually begin to experience more peace, more freedom, and more clarity. We stop fighting against the current of life and start flowing with it. And in that flow, we discover that the world is not here to oppose us, but to guide us through each moment with the exact lessons we need at the right time. So the next time you feel like you're losing control, remember that letting go isn't a failure. It's an opportunity to trust yourself and the process. In doing so, you unlock the deeper wisdom within you, and the path ahead becomes clearer. The more we release control, the more we can step into our true power, one that doesn't come from manipulation or force, but from alignment with the flow of life itself. By letting go, we finally allow ourselves to be who we truly are: imperfect, messy, and beautiful, just as we were meant to be. When we stop trying to control the outcome, we free ourselves to embrace the infinite possibilities of the present moment. And that's when the magic happens. And this brings us to one of the most powerful tools we have in our spiritual journey: anxiety. It's often seen as something we must avoid, something to push away or suppress. We try to meditate, breathe, and calm ourselves in hopes of quieting the anxiety, believing that if we could just be peaceful enough, everything would fall into place. But what if, instead of running from anxiety, we chose to face it? What if we listened to it, not as an enemy, but as a powerful messenger? Anxiety, like all emotions, is a natural part of our human experience. It's not inherently bad or harmful. In fact, it holds within it the potential to guide us toward growth, deeper self-awareness, and a more authentic existence. Anxiety is often a signal, an invitation to look within and question the stories we tell ourselves, the beliefs we cling to, and the fears that control us. When we learn to embrace anxiety rather than resist it, we begin to uncover its hidden power. It teaches us where we're holding on too tightly, whether it's to control, perfection, or comparisons. It reveals the parts of us that are longing for transformation. Anxiety is a spotlight on our subconscious, shining light on the areas of our lives that need attention, healing, and realignment. In fact, anxiety can serve as a catalyst for spiritual awakening. It challenges us to let go of the false identities we've constructed, the ideas of who we think we should be. When we stop fighting our anxiety, we open ourselves to the possibility of transformation. The more we resist it, the more it tightens its grip. But when we acknowledge it, when we sit with it and allow it to unfold, we step into a deeper sense of trust, both in ourselves and in the universe. Remember, the path is not about eliminating anxiety or avoiding discomfort. When we stop running from our feelings and start listening to them, we uncover the true potential within us. Anxiety becomes a tool of growth, not a force that weakens us. So as you continue on your journey, remember that you are not broken because you feel anxious. You are not falling behind because you stumble. You are human, and being human is messy, unpredictable, and beautiful. Each anxious thought, each uncomfortable emotion is simply part of the unfolding process. It's not a sign that you're failing. It's a sign that you are growing, evolving, and stepping into your true power. The anxiety you feel today, it holds the key to unlocking a new level of awareness, strength, and peace. When you learn to face it head-on, you'll discover that it's not something to fear, but something to embrace. Because within your anxiety lies the potential for a deeper, more authentic version of yourself. And that, my friend, is where true peace begins, not in the absence of anxiety, but in the acceptance of it as part of the journey. Trust the process, trust yourself, and trust that every step you take, no matter how uncertain, is leading you exactly where you need to go. You don't need to be perfect, you just need to be you.